Is the crisis in Ukraine a result of the conflict between the United States of America and Russia?
I think the conflict in Ukraine is the result of Russia being very provocative and Vladimir Putin deciding he can pull something off and he doesn't think the rest of the world cares. He has miscalculated. The rest of the world does care, the United States does care, and the United States stands clearly with Ukraine.
Some people compare Putin with Stalin and Hitler. Are those comparisons fair?
There's world leaders who are aggressive and they hurt people around them. And I think that what Putin has done is he has made a decision to go in not just to Georgia back in 2008, but in Ukraine now in an effort to assert his influence. The world loves leaders that brings people together and works towards peace, and the world shuns leaders who are provocative and trying to make life miserable. And unfortunately, I think Vladimir Putin is fitting into the latter category right now.
The US dollar is the world reserve currency, and oil is traded in worldwide in US dollars, the so-called petrodollars. Putin is challenging the status of the United States dollar, and together with the BRICS countries wants to promote an alternative currency. Is this issue the underlying basis for the escalating tensions between Russia and the United States?
I think that Vladimir Putin's decision to challenge the world's currency, that is the United States, the US dollar as the reserve currency, may be symptomatic of some problem he has with the West. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think he will be successful. It is an admonition, though, for the United States to be mindful that there are people that want to see the US dollar be brought down. I don't think he will be successful, and I predict that it will ultimately fail.
You know that in 2015, the BRICS countries are planning their own Bank for Development and Reconstruction in their own International Monetary Fund.
The world is a big place, and there's a lot of opportunity to help. And if the BRICS want to continue to step forward, if India and Brazil and China and Russia can all agree on ways that they can help, then the more the merrier.
Do you think that the expansion of NATO in Eastern Europe made Putin feel insecure?
I don't know exactly. I do know that the expansion of NATO is an effort to keep Europe safe. NATO has been an incredibly successful country, a successful treaty. NATO is not provocative. NATO expands by invitations, and nations choose to join NATO. They're not forced to join NATO.
How did the Malaysia Airlines MH17 plane crash affect the American policy in the region?
I think it has become a focal point, and to recognize that the Russian influence in eastern Ukraine in particular is now out of control. And to the extent that the Russians say we're not responsible for that, no one believes that. And now you see that nearly 300 people, innocent people who were just up in the sky, have now lost their life. And the effect of that plane crash has galvanized the rest of the world to realize that this is having an impact on everyone potentially.
It is well known that the corruption in the Ukrainian government is even bigger than the one in Russia. Do you feel comfortable that any financial help to Ukraine will be used for the right purpose?
When I was part of a delegation meeting with President Poroshenko, this was the day before he was elected, so he wasn't president then, he reflected on the problem of Ukrainian corruption. And he was very reflective about it, said it needs to be addressed. One of the solutions that he recommended was to have auditors come in who are part of it to gain a level of confidence. The American taxpayer will not support a corrupt regime, and it is incumbent on Ukraine and its leadership to demonstrate not just to the American taxpayer, but to the rest of the world that it is doing everything it can to rid itself of corruption.
What are the potential risks in providing arms to the Ukrainian army?
Anytime you're involved in military action, there are risks, and they're inherent with military action.
Do you think that a direct military conflict between Russia and the United States is possible? And who will be the winner?
I hope not, because no one wins.
Can the crisis in Ukraine escalate to a global war?
Wars involving strategic places can escalate and get out of control, which is why we have to do everything we can to avoid it.
Thank you very much.